Jeremy Allen's the founder of Yazmo and LeadQuizzes, and I'm super excited to introduce you guys to my guest today, Jennifer Rachel Hudye. And Jennifer is the founder of JenniferRachel.com. She is the founder of Strong Mind, Sexy Body Blueprint, and she helps millennial women with their exercise, nutrition, mindset, and well-being. And I'm super excited to welcome her today.
Thank you.
Awesome. So today, Jennifer, the reason I wanted to bring you on is because I know you've been doing an incredible job of getting engagement and nurturing your list. And so that's one thing a lot of people ask me is after we use our quiz, how engaged are the leads going to be, how much response are people going to get? And I know you've really just dug into that and just worked on your nurture campaigns a lot, been inside Infusionsoft. And so I just wanted to ask you some questions today and share with people what you've been doing.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So obviously when we start out with the nurture campaign, it's really important to start to introduce people to, who you are and what to expect. And so Jennifer, why don't you walk us through what's kind of your approach when someone gets on your list?
Okay. So, nurture campaigns are super important. And before you're even, if you do introduce a sale, say on a landing page, first off, it's really important that you have a really engaging nurture campaign after that in order to build the relationship with your potential customer. And I think that the statistic is, I know that they said originally 9 touches and now it's even 17 before someone feels comfortable enough in order to buy from you. And so not just throwing out random articles at them, but really having a strategic plan to what you want to accomplish or where you want to take them on a journey in order to get them to the specific destination, which is usually some sort of sale. And so I would like to say 2 things. One is work backwards on what goal you're trying to accomplish and whatever type of product it is, and making sure that everything that you do in that nurture campaign reflects the product that you're trying to sell. So I know some people will just create a generic nurture campaign for everyone, and I wouldn't recommend doing that because if you have different products, it's not going to align. The second thing that you want to do before even starting the nurture campaign is really getting super clear of your brand. And I know that so many people probably say this, and on getting really clear of who your customer is and how you're going to structure your brand to represent who you want to attract. But there's that saying, common sense isn't always common practice. And I think that a lot of us know this, but very few will actually take that into consideration when using it for developing their nurture campaigns and making sure that your brand, your personality is coming through in each email.
Okay, awesome. So I love that framework. So Jennifer, tell the people listening to this a little bit more about your product, how you started to work backwards and what you did with, introducing your brand to people.
Sure. So my main product that I have, or the destination that I want my potential customers or tribe to get to is my Strong Mind, Sexy Body Blueprint. And it's a holistic online program for millennial women, and it targets 4 different areas: nutrition, mindset, exercise, and well-being. And with the LeadQuizzes quiz, it was super helpful because I was able to put these women in specific buckets based on their results of the quiz and what they really needed. And I have a different nurture campaign for every single one of their results. So I got even more specific because of the quiz on who or that journey that I was going to take the woman on.
Okay. So when people go through your quiz, Jennifer, the thing that they find out is what's the area that's holding me back? And then it's exercise, nutrition, mindset, or well-being.
Right.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. And based on that, so say for example, Jeremy, you took my quiz and say it said you need help with nutrition. Then in the nurture campaign that I'm going to explain to everyone is I'm going to be giving you specific articles on nutrition as well as those other areas, but specifically nutrition, so that I can help you fix that problem that you have, or just take it to another level and you being able to actually implement things before even purchasing my program. You're seeing value before ever even purchasing.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So that's how like you kind of approach the product. So like, let's say, do you want to jump in and start to go through some of your emails, or show like, let's start with the responses first. So Jennifer, you pulled like some example responses of like how people have been responding and engaging. I want people to see that first, and then we'll jump into like what you actually did. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. I'll pull it up right here. Here we go. Let me know when you can see it.
Yep.
Okay. So in my emails, which I'll go into in a little bit, for example, one of my emails, 6, is, can we get a little bit more personal? And I ask the woman on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready they are to get results in this area that they're struggling with. And so I'm priming them. And here's some of my results. One woman said, like, I'm definitely a 10. This is my biggest issue. Here's what I'm struggling with. And, you know, looking for recommendations. In my first email that I'll go through with everyone, one of the first things I do is I say, these are the 5 things that I'm all about. Like, these are my values. And I think that this is one of the best strategies that I've ever done, because it instantly puts or sees if the potential customer and I click and match. And so a lot of the women will share, you know, taking care of my family, being happy, staying motivated, being outgoing, loving life. And then I ask them, what are some things that you need help with? And so then they'll explain, well, I exercise, but I eat junk food when I see it and I want it. Or another woman gets really into depth explaining the things that she stands for, as well as the things that she's been doing but still not seeing results, and also showing that they're really excited to get started and really exciting taking the time for me to email them. So one thing I want to caution everyone while I'm going through this is I think that it's really, really important to be asking your potential customer or your new tribe member questions throughout the email, so that it's not a one-way street. But on the other side of that is you need to respond to them. So I designate time every single week, and I'm responding to these women, and I'm making sure that I'm giving them value. If they say, hey, this is something that I'm really struggling with, like I have no idea where to start with nutrition, they're going to be going through a funnel, but I will go and hand select some links to share with them, because I really want to help them. And it really helps with that engagement. So here's a few other ones, but I've had hundreds in the past few months of women just opening up to me, sharing with me some of their most intimate and personal stories. And it's really cool, the power of that through a nurture campaign.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, Jennifer. And I think it really shows that, like, you know, you actually give a shit about the people that are coming on your list. And I think that comes through. And so I know, like, some of the people on this call that'll be listening, they have they have very big email.
So that's a really good point as far as these people with really big email lists in not having the time. For myself, what I've done is, depending on the responses, I do have kind of emails laid out that I will copy and paste, but then I'll make them a little bit more personal. So I'm not saying that you need to create a brand new email response for every single one of these people. Have a draft and add in some personal components that show that it isn't just another automated email and it's coming from you. And another point on this is, one of the things that I know all of us in email marketing are struggling with a little bit is all of our emails going to promotion, the promotion tab in Gmail. And I'll show you in a moment, I believe, one of the things that you should be doing in your very first nurture campaign to make sure aren't going into the promotion tab. But another thing that helps so much is when people respond to your emails and then you respond back, that instantly puts your emails now in their primary, so that you're not just getting lost in the crowd of all of these opt-ins that they've used.
Awesome. That's a really great point. So I think one of the things you started like talking about too, Jennifer, is like, now that even though we're bringing people in that are like interested in these 4 areas for you, it probably they still break into different like buyer personas or like you know, groups or segments of people. And so how does that help you as far as like understanding like the language that they use, or how to help them even further, maybe developing your product or doing that kind of stuff.
That's a really good point. So these responses, and a lot of the times what they're sending back to me, I take that language directly that they say, and I'll say, what are some of the common trends? And then I make sure that I'm using that language in all of my marketing, on my sales campaigns, when I'm writing Facebook statuses. And it's so easy, because a lot of the times we think that we know what people want or what their problems are, but if we don't articulate it in the right way, then they're not going to realize that, yes, we have a solution for that. So that is another reason why a nurture campaign is so important. And I will actually take some of the responses if I notice women are continually saying, for example, with women and their goals, they would specifically say, I'm looking to tone up, find more balance, and find happiness. And that was not the languages I was using at all on my sales pages. And so I changed it to that. And in all of my marketing, you're going to see those three things pop up everywhere, because that's what my target demographic is looking for.
That's awesome. And it probably also like primes you for like then going out and creating like blog content too, huh?
Oh yeah. So with all of that, I actually take the responses too, based on either the nurture campaign or surveys that I've done that I sent out to my list. And I will put those in specific categories. And then that gives me content that I can use to create blog posts for months, because it's people's actual problems that they want help with immediately.
That's awesome. And yeah, one more thing I want to add about kind of the results you've had, Jennifer, is like, remember when you sent out a survey originally to people asking them what they cared about, like within the first 48 hours, you had 10% of people on your list, like actually go out and fill out the entire survey. So not even just open or click, but fill out. And I think you said you ended up with even more than that. So that's incredible. And that's really awesome you've been able to do that, Jennifer. So I'd love to, at this point, just kind of jump in, like, what are kind of the email sequences that you roll through, and like, what would you suggest people starting to set up in their nurture campaign?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I will pull it up here and I'll go through my first 6 emails that I directly send to my list. And mind you, some of these are tailored. This is the general one, and I will tailor them depending on what their results were in their quiz. And so here we go. I'm going to share this screen again. One of the things that I don't have, or I didn't add in here, but I did add in my Infusionsoft, is a little photo in my very first email that shows exactly what the person should do if they opt in for my emails. And I can even send that to you over after, but all it is, it's a simple screenshot of the Google email inbox, and it says, hey, I'm probably in the promotions over here. Make sure you drag my email over to your primary so that you can never miss one of my emails. Super powerful thing, so simple to do. Just add it in your first email. But the first email is an introduction. And so here you're going to just acknowledge, thank you so much for taking my quiz or doing whatever you're doing, and acknowledging them for taking that first step. The next thing you're going to do, or what I've done anyways, is I talk about the 5 things that I'm all about. So I'm all about balance, putting ourselves first, working smarter, not harder, empathy, and having fun. And I share little stories and let my personality come through in what these 5 things that I'm about. And I think that this is really powerful, because regardless of if you are an individual selling a product or if you have a company, you need to make sure that you are a person sending this email. Your company's not just sending the email, because people associate with people. It's really hard for them. They're going to disengage immediately if they don't think that another person's behind that email. And I've gotten some nasty ones too from people being like, if this is an automated email, like, take me off your email list right now. But as soon as I respond, they kind of melt. So,
So funny.
And then the next thing is training in all of these emails, training your potential customer to take action. So right from the get-go, you want to make a CTA, or a call to action, in every single one of your emails. So here I say, okay, I shared with you my vulnerable side of the 5 things that I'm about. Now you share with me what you're all about. 5 things, and this one I've actually switched out, and I've said one thing. Because I noticed with 3 things, people would just kind of jot note them. I say one thing that's just really frustrating you right now that you need a solution to immediately. And I get so many responses on this email. And then it's like, hey, by the way, keep a lookout for what's coming next. So that's the first email. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Another tip. So in email 2, I kind of put here, it's going a little compliment / cocky. So you want to tease them a little bit. And the example that I use sometimes is nurture campaigns are a lot like dating. And full disclosure, I'm not, let's admit, I'm not the best dater, but if you make the correlation, it makes it much easier to understand. So you want to not just hand them all of your best stuff immediately. You want to make sure that they're engaging and excited to get your emails. So here, your subject lines are everything, first off. So some sort of curiosity is really important. And here I say like, hey, I have something really big coming, but I don't know if you can handle it yet right now. So I'm going to give you something else that's really awesome, and check it out, which is the call to action. Check out this blog post on habits. And so this one's specifically tailored to depending what bucket they are in based on the quiz. And then again, this intrigues them to be like, something really big is coming and I'm excited for it. So I'm going to keep opening up those emails. Make sense?
Awesome. I love it.
Okay.
So
cool.
you start to just give them content, start to train them.
Mm-hmm. Email 3, again, is really tailoring based on their results and striking some curiosity. So depending on, again, what bucket they are in, I will send them a specific article, one of my best articles or blog posts or videos that I've done on the specific topic. And again, letting your personality show through here is really important. For me, I've taken a lot of time in making sure that my voice that is actually in person or in my videos comes through in your emails. You don't want to be dull and boring. People get so, like, they have so many average things coming into their inbox. If you make it fun and engaging, they're going to open just to see what you're talking about. So again, that's email 3. And notice, I have a sales page right after my quiz, which is an ebook, but I don't introduce that ebook again until like email 5 or 6, because I realized, okay, they're not ready yet. Now I'm going to develop that relationship. Next up is email 4, and this is questions and conversations. So saying, hey, straight up, I want to get to know you better. Question 1, question 2, question 3. Can you please answer these to me because I really want to get to know you? And this email specifically, I get so many responses to again. And it's so powerful because instantly it's like, so tell me, what is the absolute worst part of the last diet or fitness program that you've tried and what let you down the most? Question 2, what is your current number 1 goal and how are you trying to achieve it? And 3, if you haven't reached it yet, what makes you feel like you haven't been successful? So this again, like opens up their mind. So it's challenging them to think differently. And then it's also giving me instant feedback to, can I really help them?
Awesome.
Okay. So email 5 again is more engagement. And this, I've pulled together my most 5 common questions that I receive, and I answer them right in the email. And here is when I first introduce my ebook again. So in these 5 questions, I think it's really powerful because I'm pulling up any hesitation that they may have about
their buying objections.
Exactly. I'm pulling them up immediately and I'm answering them and making them feel comfortable. Like, okay, maybe I'm ready to make this smaller purchase. I'm not throwing them my $250 program yet, because again, we're not there yet. So I would highly recommend for everyone, what are the most common questions that come up or those buyer objections, and then just laying them straight out. Be authentic, be real, be upfront. so that these people really feel comfortable talking to you or going through your process.
Okay, awesome.
The last email I'm going to share with you is this: can we get a bit more personal? And again, this is asking a question. So that call to action is an engagement. And again, I get a ton of responses to this one. This was the one that we were talking about earlier on a scale of 1 to 10. How ready are you to see results? And in the next 3 emails after this, email 6, I'm starting to bring up the Strong Mind, Sexy Body Blueprint. So I'm asking them immediately, like, how ready are you for something awesome to come your way? And when I get a 10, sometimes I will personally email these people back if they send me a 10, and I'm like, hey, like, I would get on the Strong Mind, Sexy Body Blueprint then, because based on what you just said, like, I know that it can help you. And another like simple marketing tactic is make sure that with any of your emails that you're only usually doing like 1 call to action per email that you really, really want them to do, or else it's going to overwhelm them. But like I mentioned earlier, always make sure that there's a call to action, whether they're clicking somewhere or they're responding to you.
Yeah, I love that last point that you gave, Jennifer. Like, if someone has a sales team, or even if they do the sales themselves, like if someone's showing that they're super excited and jacked, and they're saying so in their responses, and they probably are interested in potentially that product and having a little bit higher touch to buy that from you.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're having like higher price products.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. So that's your secret sequence, and that's your secret sauce to getting this high engagement, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing this with Jennifer. Any last words of wisdom?
Well, I would say that regardless of whatever stage you're in, you need to make sure that you're taking nurture campaigns a lot more seriously than you are. I see a lot of people that are just like throwing up sales pages and then assuming that people are going to buy, but business is all about relationships, and whether that's online or in person, it's even more important online to build that relationship with your customer and really show that you give a shit. That's going to set you apart so much and build a loyal tribe and brand. So my call to action to everyone is to take your nurture campaign seriously, and it doesn't have to be extensive. Just follow the step-by-step plan that I just gave you, at least for your first 6, and you'll be well on your way.
Awesome. Yeah, Jennifer. And one of the things that I've admired about your like nurture campaigns too is like, you would always like, you set it up, and then like, I'd hear you like, oh, this weekend I'm going to be working on my nurture campaign. And so you constantly kept working on it and improving it based on like the feedback that you got. So I think that's really good advice for everybody here too. Like, get a first version up, and then start to make improvements so that you get more interaction or more clicks through on like your pages, or more opens based on your subject line. So thanks for being such a great example, Jennifer. And thanks for sharing what you've done.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Jeremy.
Awesome. Bye.